Blog Talk Radio.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I am your host for this show. Divas That Care is working together to make the world a better place. Our podcast may be listened to on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, and any place you listen to podcasts. Go to our website, divasthatcare.com, and check out all the amazing hosts and their shows of women they are interviewing around the world. I am so very excited today to welcome back a diva, Kate Nelligan, with me, and she is going to speak about horses as healers and teachers, which truly ignites my interest. Kate, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I am an equine partnered life coach, and I am an author and also a speaker. And so essentially what I do is I partner humans and horses together in personal and professional growth to really work through emotional issues, relationship issues, and finding more meaning in our careers.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is incredible. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love how you're partnering horses and humans together. Oh, that is so neat. Well, what I think you've kind of answered it, but I'm going to ask, what cause is near and dear to you then in this mission that you're on with partnering human and horses together?
Yeah, I think it's really the power of the human-animal bond and what's possible when we open our hearts and learn from animals and also nature, because there's just so much metaphor and learning in the way that nature is, the way that animals are, just from their way of being. And there's the Human-Animal Bond Research Institute does a lot of studies on essentially the mental and physical and emotional wellness that comes from the human-animal bond, and they often study dogs and cats in the house, but horses are really powerful for helping people to heal and to transform because they are prey animals and they live in a herd dynamic, and there's so much that we can learn from how they've always partnered with us throughout the ages. And I really believe that they are here to help us ascend and to become, wiser, better versions of ourselves. So I'm really passionate about getting people outside in nature to reset, to regulate their nervous systems, and to kind of open their hearts from learning from the way that horses are and what horses can teach.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that is just incredible how you're bringing people back into nature and to the animals and letting the animals speak to them in a way. Oh, that is really awesome. Well, was there an aha moment that led you into pursue this with horses and all that they have to offer to others?
Yes. So it's funny. I've been with horses my whole life. I rode since I was a kid and when I was 10. And, horses have always been my favorite creatures on the planet. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that they could really do healing and therapy and education and coaching type work until a few years ago when essentially I was in a pasture with my friend, and she was telling me about how her horses were interacting with some clients that were on the ranch. They were in rehab for addiction, and she was telling me about how her horses were specifically going up to certain people, putting their heads on that person's heart. They were nudging people when they needed a nudge, and they were really showing up in unique and specific ways. And so she started to tell me about this, and it was one of those moments in my life where I really do feel like the whole world stopped and everything stood still. And I knew on every cell of my being that this was something I had to pay attention to. And I immediately was like, I need to see this. I need to see this. So I sat in with my first mentor and I watched like the most incredible transformation in 2 hours, because kind of change took about 2 years in my master's program in spiritual psychology. But in 2 hours, I was watching people come in really in despair, disconnected from their bodies, wanting to give up hope, and not really, wanting to even be here, honestly. And then after 2 hours, from the power of being with the horses, they were reconnected, smiling, excited to pursue their treatment plans. Like, it was just mind blowing. And so I decided not to work with addicts after, my mentorship, but I just loved the power of what happened there. And so it was that original aha moment where I knew that I was hearing something really important, but then I've had so many aha moments with the horses since, because they're constantly creating insight.
Oh, wow. What an aha moment. That is so awesome. Well, I am a true horse lover too, and I always knew how much they helped me, and every morning I hug on them, and they just lift you up. They just make you feel better. So, that is just awesome. That is so neat. Well, Kate, I had gone to your website, and I love your mission statement is to empower you to recognize and realize your true nature. That is so fitting with everything you've just said about your aha moments. And you have on there that you will teach people to create a life that rocks. Can you explain to our listeners a little bit what that means to you, a life that rocks?
Sure. Yeah, so my original coaching brand was Conscious Rockstar, and so it is very much about a name that I gave for my intuition, and I do feel that we all have very powerful intuitions and guidance systems, and if we listen to them, we can really live a life that rocks. And so I was often called a rock star in my career, and to me that really meant that I was in my best version of myself, that I was in my true nature. I was shining. I was also accomplishing things and moving forward on my goals. And so it really felt to me like I wanted to create more rock stars in the world. But ultimately, to live a life that rocks is something where, there's excitement there. There's wonder. There's joy. It's something that we feel proud of. It's very different from a life that sucks, right? So,
yes.
It's that feeling of exclaiming that your life is really lit up from within, not because you have all the things in the external world, but that you're really living from within and shining your light.
Oh, what an explanation. Oh, man, that's going to make everybody want to live a life that rocks. Oh, now what part do the horses come into play to help teach people along with your coaching to live a life that rocks? How do you incorporate all of that together?
This is role modelship, a very peaceful, centered, present way of living that we can really learn from. And I find them to just be, they're teachers because of how they are role modeling a way of being. And their way of being is they are clear in their communication with their herd mates. They are unconditionally loving. They are meditating a lot of times, spending time just standing and being with other horses. And, horses are very clear and very congruent. And so I often say they celebrate our authenticity because they really want us, like if we're not feeling well or we're angry, to just own that and work through it, right? But not try to hide it or wear a mask, and to really just be in that space of owning all of us. And I also find horses to be very majestic and very proud. And so, when we're living a life that rocks, we are all those things, right? We're present, we're enjoying our life, we're connected to others. And so in many ways, it's these kind of soft skills or emotional intelligence skills that are truly about different qualities, right? Qualities of joy or compassion or presence. So it's that they're teaching.
That is so awesome. That is just so neat. They are a very special animal, and I have seen so many places where it has said horses know before you get to them what your mood is. Now, do you feel that they do that?
I find that horses are incredibly aware of a lot that we are not even totally aware of what they're aware of. I get the sense that they are definitely clear about what you're feeling, and people say they mirror. I think they're really in the space of reflecting and choosing what feels good. So if we're in a lot of anger, they probably don't want to be around us because it doesn't feel safe to them, but it also doesn't feel good to them. Or if we're lying and incongruent, I've found that they'll sort of nudge you until you expose the truth, right? Or they'll start to show things. And so it's just really neat. Like, I've seen that in so many different ways. And my own personal example of that is I would go in and want my mare to just cuddle me and be next to me, but I would be very in a place of like either needy or self-pity, and she would want nothing to do with me. And I would then go to a part of the arena, put my hand on my heart, do a lot of forgiveness work, get back centered in myself, in my power. And then, lo and behold, I'd open my eyes, and then she'd be standing over me. So I do think that they are very much choosing to be around us when we are in more of these kind of higher states of consciousness, like joy and love and compassion. And when we're in the lower states, they don't always ignore us. They can, but they will often nudge us to be like, hey, get together, get that together. So it helps people. I mean, it really does. I've seen my mare once stepped on someone that was so in their ego just so that, like, you know, he could have a shift. So it's really neat to see.
Oh, that would be such a neat experience. Oh, my goodness. And I'm sure you see it differently with every person you work with. Do you have certain horses with the certain personalities that when a client comes in and you kind of know some of their troubles, or do you just kind of let them be within the whole herd? How do you conduct something like that with the horses and your clients?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I pretty much, with clients, I often let them, they choose who they feel most drawn to, because I know that we all know, right, inside ourselves, we all have our own inner resources. So when a client comes and they're drawn in particular to a certain horse, I know that horse has teachings for them. And because I do know the horse as well, I do get a sense of what we're going to work on, right? And when someone picks the lead mare, I get a sense that we're going to be working on leadership, right? And boundaries or whatever it might be. And so I kind of, know that there's going to be certain things that come up. But what I love about horses is it's what you just said. It's different with every client. So the same horse also can be different with every single client. So I do groups as well as private sessions. And so in a group, one horse could be 6 different ways with 6 different individuals because of how people show up and how much of that mirroring and the metaphor work is happening and how they adjust and attune to each person for what they need. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can only imagine. I can only talk from my experience, and even between my husband and I mean, the horses will act totally different when they're with him than when they're with me. And it's just so interesting to watch. So when you're seeing it in a group like that, that must be almost breathtaking to watch the difference of how they respond to different people. That is so exciting.
It is, and it's also neat to watch people watch them and go, wow, that horse is really different with me than with that person. And it brings up stories, and then from the stories we can process and we can get into the coaching, it's a great door opener.
Yes. So the horses kind of help open the door for you to be able to coach on with the client then. And in your coaching, some of the things that you specialize in. Would you please share with our listeners some of your coach specialties?
Sure, yeah. So because I have a master's in spiritual psychology and an undergrad in psychology, my focus is our master's program really brought us through 26 communication skills, which are truly about emotional intelligence. And there's a skill around carefrontation, which is really how do you have more difficult conversations, but with a lot of care. And so I'm really bringing those skills, and then they gave us 8 different counseling strategies. So I am very much an eclectic coach. I have a lot of energy modalities that I use. I have a lot of my psychology background that I pull from, and then I have a certification in equine experiential education. And so I bring in different exercises that people all do on the ground. We're not riding the horses. And, my focus is really twofold: women in some form of major life transition that are usually, I call it a spiritual awakening. And I meet people where they're at in regards to their openness to spirituality. But ultimately, we're working on self-love and self-acceptance as they go through challenging transitions, which can be divorces or career changes, becoming parent, those kind of different life journeys that we go on. And then also corporate groups. So working with corporate groups on mindfulness and leadership training and team building. So those are really kind of my major 2 focuses.
Wow. You have yes.
I should also mention I do also help other equine coaches start their business. So that's another thing that I've been doing a lot more recently, which is really because my background is in marketing. I have 20 years of marketing experience with large brands down to smaller brands, local brands. And so I really help equine coaches get started because I feel like we need more people to be doing this work, especially as I'm not working with veterans or addicts or youth that much. So I really want to help others to do that around the country and really the world because we need more equine therapy and equine coaching out there.
Yes. Oh, my. Wow. You are a very, very busy lady. Oh, you must have such a satisfaction, though, in the work that you are doing, Kate, because you are helping so many people in so many different ways. That is just beautiful. Wow. Well, so as busy as you are, what is your secret to balancing all of the work and how you're giving back to others and even to yourself to keep yourself balanced?
Yes, I love this. I think that for me as a coach, I really do my best to practice what I preach and walk my talk. And so I have a self-care practice that I have kind of broken into based off of a needs assessment that I do with my own clients, but it's really around mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. And so for me, there's, a couple different activities under each, but I am someone that needs a lot of sleep, and I can run really hard during the day, but I have to fully rest and restore. So that's one thing. I am a huge fan of having a joy list and a bucket list and scheduling things every week that bring me joy. And being out in nature. I mean, I'm blessed that where I work is a place that also really restores me. So just being with the horses and the animals, but I also have goats. And so I'm getting out and playing and cuddling them. And that really kind of keeps me in my own balance. So.
Oh, I love that because on your Facebook page, I saw where you had all the little goats around it. Oh, they're so cute. I'm like, oh, that is just awesome. So you are balancing yourself basically through nature and the animals, the goats, the horses.
Yeah,
in some ways.
I am definitely taking the medicine that I give my clients for sure, which is very much being with the animals. Yeah, they completely lift my spirits and restore me and remind me that, that to be the best for others, to be the best coach and to be the best in all my roles, that I really have to have a full cup, right? I need to be restored and rejuvenated to be able to help others. So, yeah.
It's taking care of yourself first so you can help others then in return in a lot of ways.
Yes.
That is just awesome. Oh, I just love it. Well, how can others get involved with you? Do you have classes, workshops, virtual ones where people can get involved with what you are doing and with your coaching, Kate?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So much has changed recently because we're not doing as much in person. I'm still doing private one-on-ones in person. I work out of a ranch near Boulder, Colorado, and I was traveling pretty frequently to Los Angeles, and that I'm sure Los Angeles, California will still happen. I work out of different ranches around the country when I travel, and I've done different workshops in different places. I usually do workshops around a theme, so developing intuition or relationships and intimacy, really themes that I think women will want to participate in and be in community when we do the work in person. The virtual work that I'm doing right now was really inspired by the horses, and that kind of came to me in my own meditations. So every Sunday I'm doing Heaven on Earth, which is essentially how can we learn to be and bring that feeling of heaven through the animals and natures into our own reality, onto Earth. And so those are love donation. They're all on Zoom. And I'm also doing pretty frequently horse wisdom readings, which is really me. I have some background in animal communication, and so I'm working with my own intuition and asking the horses directly for messages for clients. And so those are limited to 6 spots, and they're an hour, and there's just a small fee. But I'm doing those too, and people are getting really great messages directly from the horses and the mini donkey that I work with for guidance on their life or any challenges that they're going through. So I'm doing those. And the other fun thing that we've been doing is Heart Math and Horses. And so Heart Math and Horses is a really beautiful science-based program around the coherence and benefits of being in the heart and heart breathing and heart exercises. And I have some training in that, but my colleague is really leading those experiences. And then I'm working on helping people to connect with the heart of the horse because their hearts are 5 times the size of ours. So those are also virtual and love donation that we're doing. And I'm, actually going to the ranch in Colorado and broadcasting from there so people can see the Rockies and see the horses as well. So, and the goats. I'm bringing the goats into some of it as well, too. And one of the fun things is people have asked us to join their conference calls for work or for different conferences that they're doing as like celebration to see the goats because we have baby goats. And so we've been doing that too. We've been joining and bringing the animals to people that way virtually.
My word. Oh, goodness. Oh. Well, I was taking notes here of the classes that you're offering. Oh, my goodness. Those all sound absolutely incredible. And what great ways for our audience and listeners to be able to connect with you. Oh, they all sound so interesting. Definitely.
Thank you.
Well, what all do you see next for you in your future?
Yeah, that is something I think a lot about. I am finishing a book, writing another one, all guided by the horses, very much in legacy to my 2 mares who I've lost. I have a horse coming soon. I haven't had a horse in a couple of years, but I have a horse coming soon. So I'm expanding my family. And then I am working on a training program as well. I really want to help the equine coaches get their work out into the world more. And I think a lot of people are looking at new chapters and new career callings. And there's just an interest in way that I feel like I can support other equine practitioners doing equine assisted learning and education and coaching, just because of my background. And I don't want people to make any of the same mistakes I did. I would love to help people get out there faster and see more clients more quickly. So there's a lot that I have coming up, which I'm excited about. So.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. You have a plate full already, and you have a plate full plan for the future also.
Yes.
Oh, that is so awesome. That is neat. Well, we are getting close to the close of this interview, which has gone so quickly, Kate. I just want to ask, do you have some final thoughts, tips, or tools to leave with our listeners today?
Yes. I feel like right now that message of take care of yourself so you can take care of others that you said earlier is really something to highlight and underscore. I think as we are so focused on building our own immunity, that nature plays a huge role in that. And many of us have always loved nature, but maybe we haven't been out in it as much, and now we are really returning there. And so I just want to encourage people to honor our earth, appreciate her, literally say thank you to her when you're walking, slow down, notice the trees and the animals. And then when you see an animal, to just do your best to, look into their eyes if that feels appropriate, and connect to them on the soul-to-soul level and appreciate them being on the planet and what they're doing, whether it's a dog for their human that's really providing comfort for them, or exercise, getting them outside, or, whether it's a wild critter and just seeing how in harmony they are with their natural environment, and realizing that we can be in that same harmony as well, and to just appreciate them and maybe see them slightly different and send them some love, because they feel it and they're always sending us their love. And so I just think it'd be nice if we can connect more to that space, because we are all connected, and we're learning that right now as we've all gone through a very global challenge with the pandemic. So I just encourage everyone to find their own true nature through being in nature and through the animals.
Oh, Kate. Oh, that was just absolutely beautiful. Some final tips and tools and thoughts to leave to our listeners. Wow. Incredible. I want to thank you so much, Kate, for being my guest. And I hope you will return. And please keep us updated, because on your equine partnered life, your coaching, and your books, I would love to be able to interview you later on in the future and catch up with you, Kate.
Thank you. I'd love that too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. We will be posting all of Kate's social media links to this podcast. And I want to thank you all for listening to this interview with our amazing diva, Kate Nelligan. Please share this show with your family and friends, along with telling them they may listen to Divas That Care podcasts on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or any place they listen to podcasts. Be sure to check out all the hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. Have a fantastic day. Be kind to all. Give your animals a big hug and share your love with them. Until next time, stay strong and healthy.